You're watching NTV Tonight. Welcome back. Now, to our all coverage on the COVID upsurge. And as informed earlier, in the last 24 hours, 331 people have tested positive for the disease from a sample size of 2,878, which brings the positivity rate to 11.5%. I'm now joined by Dr. Ahmed. Karibu sana to the program. Let me start with the question that is on everyone's mind. And this is the question that with the rise of COVID-19 testing positivity tenfold, that's 11.5% as mentioned, in the last 1 week, and sort of the lack of reagents and genetic sequencing, would it be wrong to assume the Omicron virus is here with us?
My assumption is that it's here with us because it has already spread to so many countries that are connected to South Africa. So I don't think that the assertion that we don't have any case in the country is true. I am almost sure that we have a case at least in the country by now. It's just a matter of time before the ministry announces it.
Right. So the health minister today, in his press conference, said that we shouldn't panic. We've not tested yet the first case, and by that we should all, continue with the COVID-19 measures as according to the Ministry of Health. What's the problem with that kind of thinking?
I think on one hand, yes, we shouldn't panic because we have had this pandemic now 1.5 years going to 2 years. But on the other hand, we have to see what's happening in other countries and be cautious. We have seen what has happened in South Africa. We are seeing what's going on in Europe. If you know, for example, the Nordic countries, Iceland and the rest, they've actually put in restrictive measures. So I think we have to be cautious. But as a country, we are better off than we have ever been before. So there's no need to panic, but we must be cautious at the moment.
All right, let's bring the question of what has happened. I think these numbers have started going up possibly towards the end of last week, and we started seeing sort of this upsurge of the numbers, going up. It's also going, in tandem with this. Everyone has complained of a flu, right? And is there a connection to this, or these are two different things that are happening?
There is a connection. Actually, there are two connections. Number one is that we are in the flu season, the third flu season of the year, because the first one usually is around February, March. Then the next one is around July. Then the third one tends to happen around November, December. So we are expecting these viral infections to be happening around now. But on the other hand, we know that the Delta, we survived the Delta wave quite well, but now there is this Omicron happening. And I think because of this Omicron, that is what is surging the infection that we are seeing. And the symptoms are quite similar because we have heard a lot about the symptoms for Omicron being things like, sore throat, irritation in the throat, back pain, body pain, rather than losing sense of smell. So I think there is definitely a connection. And remember, the way we contract COVID is the same way we contract flu. So if people take measures, they're actually protecting themselves both from flu and from COVID.
Doc, just the World Health Organization just today said that Africa is officially in its fourth wave and warning that more waves to come. The question that sort of arises with this sort of fourth wave announcement and what we know what happened in South Africa and the cancellation of flights and that sort of thing. The question is this though, should we be taking different measures this time, knowing that for the first time, we sort of watch this sort of like a slow bus, just coming to hit us. Should we be taking a different approach in how we handle this, this sort of fourth wave, if you like, given that we're also going to the holiday season?
Yes. So for us in Kenya, we're actually going into the fifth wave. Most other countries have had 3 waves. Now they're going to a fourth wave like South Africa. Actually, the fourth wave in South Africa has surpassed their past 3 waves. In Kenya, we are going into the fifth wave. The question about whether we should be looking at things differently, I think so, because definitely we have learned a lot more about this infection. We are better prepared. But on the other hand, the basic measures still remain. Masking is still the most important public health measures anybody can take, avoiding crowding, closed spaces, ventilation. But on the other hand, I don't think we should be looking at draconian measures like, imposing curfews, imposing social restrictions. I don't think we really need to go to that direction for now because we know for sure that a lot of people already have had past infection. More than 70% of the country has actually had past infection, past exposure, which gives them some background immunity, not like the very first time when we were very naive. And on the other hand, also people, the most vulnerable health workers, elderly are getting vaccinated. We have enough doses of the vaccine. So I think we should be emphasizing these public health measures like vaccination, masking, rather than going on thinking about social restriction measures. Yeah.
Okay, educate us a bit, educate the public about what's the difference with this sort of Omicron variant? What's the difference between any other variant we've had, the Delta variant before? What's the difference with this one?
I think the Omicron variant is the worst of them all so far. And that's why all the scientists are in a panic fortunately, it's not playing out as worse as we thought, particularly in South Africa. And actually today there was a bulletin from South Africa by the scientists there saying we should not interpret what's going on in South Africa and extrapolate it to other countries, because remember, South Africa has had a very severe wave. They had more than 70% of their people already having past infection. So their picture there might be different from elsewhere. And that's why some of the European countries are even taking more drastic measures. So the Omicron variant, what we know about it, it has the highest number of mutations. It can cause actually reinfection in people who have been previously infected, and it can bypass infection. Fortunately, we are not seeing as much hospitalization and deaths compared to previous waves, and this could be because of the immunity. But I think the most important thing for everybody listening today is that those who have not been vaccinated, they really want to get vaccinated. They should get vaccinated and their loved ones. For those who have been vaccinated, I think it's important that we should think about getting the booster doses, particularly those who got vaccinated about 5 to 6 months ago, healthcare workers and the elderly and the vulnerable. But overall, the basic measures remain. And I think if people are more careful and we avoid misbehaving, we can avoid a surge that can happen towards the end of December, because we know from previous experiences, usually the waves peak within 1 to 2 months. So the next 1 month is absolutely critical for this country.
Final question, Doc. The numbers of, are still not as impressive as we should. I mean, I think in the last month or so, the Minister of Health has been complaining about the numbers of the vaccination, that people are still, it's slowed down, if you like. I think the numbers today came out, Nairobi has about 900,000 leading. Mandera, I think, should be the last one with about 10,000 who have been fully vaccinated people. So there's still work to be done on the vaccination front. But you're going on a holiday. There's going to be a lot of more mingling and, more partying and more traveling. What's your advice for the public?
I think for the advice for individuals is you really want to get yourself vaccinated and your loved ones. But on an overall, as a country, as a community, the message that should be going out there is to encourage people to get vaccinated, to give people the right message. I think it was wrong to try and enforce a mandate on people, because there are a lot of conspiracy theories, anti-vaxxers. So it's about persuasive discussion and persuasive argument to get more people on board. These vaccines are safe, and there is a wide range of vaccines that you can choose from. We have learned from other countries these vaccines are safe. And I think those people who are perpetuating these conspiracy theories, they are being quite irresponsible, and we shouldn't be listening to them. I think the politicians have a role to play, and the leaders, even celebrities, people like you, James Smart. I think the more people who go out there talking about these vaccines, saying we have been vaccinated, it will actually encourage people to get vaccination, because vaccination has been proven to be one of the most effective tools in this particular pandemic, particularly in preventing deaths and severe illnesses.
Doc, just before I let you go, there's an important case today. The government has been prevented from enforcing the rule that required anyone seeking in-person government services to be fully vaccinated. And this is a question that continues to attract both for and against. I mean, I've seen it, how it happens in other countries. Should this be the route that we should take?
Absolutely not. I don't think we should be enforcing vaccination mandate, because in any case, we were not even ready as a country. With less than 15% of the population fully vaccinated, if you are going to try and impose a vaccine mandate, you'll basically be excluding more than 80% of the population from public service. That was not wise. But on the other hand, I think the right message of trying to enforce about vaccination is important, but you don't have to be draconian, you don't have to be forceful about it, yes.
Dr. Ahmed Kalebi, always great talking to you. Thank you very much for your wise thoughts and wise counsel and the advice to the public. Yes, we are fully vaccinated, and we will continue to ask people to go and get your vaccination. Thank you very much for your time. All right, you're watching NTV Tonight. Like we said, we will have wall-to-wall coverage of all stories that have happened tonight. We're taking a short break. When we come back, we have plenty more on the other side of the break. Don't go too far.